Hey free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. So a lot of you guys have been asking me who should I skill up first. Should I be scaling up my Gabrielle first? Should I be scaling up my Liling first? So here's my opinion on who you should skill up first. And I'm going to try to make this as short and as clean as possible. Now naturally when you start the game, you're going to have like a few legendary espers, okay? You may not have more than one, okay? You may just start off with your beginner esper. But let's say you do pull another legendary esper, or maybe you do fuse Gabrielle as well, so then you have a few legendary espers to choose from, but who gets the legendary Abilimons, right? So that is the big question, and I'm going to give you a very simple answer. So simply put, your supports should always come first. You shouldn't be scaling up your DPS espers as a priority for a few reasons, okay? And I'm going to go through all of these reasons as well. So like what I'm trying to say here, basically your Gabrielle deserves the skill ups first, and let's take a look at why this is the case. So as you can take a look at her rush skill over here, it has a cooldown of 5 turns until you max it out, and therefore it becomes 4 turns. And now with 4 turns, it becomes a little bit more reliable in terms of landing it more often. So essentially, if you max out all of her skills, she would have a 50% downtime in her buffs instead of like a 60% downtime, so there is a little bit of a difference there. And the same goes for her second skill as well. So it starts off with a cooldown of 4 turns. When you max it out, it goes down to 3 turns, which makes it very good as a form of defense breaks, which is going to be quite important if you want to constantly defense break every single wave of whatever content they are trying to complete. And of course, not only that, you also increase the trigger chance of, like, let's say broadside, right, to 50%, and that's going to increase the chance of you proccing defense breaks. So this is just one such example. Let's take a look at another esper that really desires skill ups. Hey free-to-play gang, sorry to stop you over there, but if you find that you do enjoy this video, do consider subscribing, as subscribing is free and you can always change your mind, and it's the perfect way for you to support me for free, and you get to be notified of when I release my next video, which can be quite helpful to you as well. Okay, so this is tricky. I have not even maxed him up yet, so I cannot wait to complete it. But as you can see, he starts off with actually 65% chance of landing his debuff on his third skill, or rather a 65% chance to strip buffs on his third skill. However, if you max it, it goes up to 75%, which makes it a lot more reliable. And not only that, if you cap it out, its cooldown is also going to go down by 1, so that's very important as well. And same goes for his first skill, which increases in trigger chance the higher you upgrade it. So basically what I'm trying to say is control espers, support espers, healer espers, these guys, they are extremely legendary Abilimon hungry. They're going to devour it as soon as they can. So of course I haven't skilled up my Clara yet because I'm working on my Tricky, but my next target is going to be my Clara as well. She is going to need this skill up so urgently because as soon as I get her cooldowns lowered by 1, she's going to keep using her AP push, she's going to keep healing my team, she's going to keep granting my entire team with immunity, with shields, with all that good stuff. So it is extremely important for you to cap out your supports. Now let's take a look at DPS espers, okay? So for example, Liling. Okay, so the thing about Liling is he's the perfect example of an esper that you don't want to skill up at all. And the reason is because, let's take a look at his third skill, right? So what do you notice over here? All that increases as you skill him up is the damage that he does. Except for his second skill, of course, it goes down in terms of cooldowns by 1. But generally, it's just increasing damage. So he's like the worst choice of an esper that you want to skill up at the start. And I'm sorry if you have already skilled him up. I'm sure there are a bunch of you guys out there who have already done so. Don't worry too much about it. You're going to use him in a lot of different content anyway. But this is just a fair warning to the rest of you guys that you do not need to skill him up. And this brings me to my next point, okay? So the next reason why I say that you don't need to skill him up is, yes, he does more damage, but don't forget that one of my main important guidelines for you guys is to only raise your DPS espers to 6 stars. Do not raise your support espers to 6 stars first. Aim for your DPS espers first. Now the thing is, if your DPS esper is at 6 stars and level 60, they are going to have so much more attack power, they're going to have so much more stats across the board, so naturally you don't need to give them skill up so soon. It's not so urgent. They're already going to be able to do so much more damage because of their base stats. You don't need to push them a little bit further than they need to be. So in general, your supports need skill ups because their skills are what makes them good, not their stats. And like I said before, they do not need to be 6 stars as well so urgently because they don't need all that HP when you're going to be building them with so much more HP based on their relics. However, there are some exceptions to this rule, okay? So for example, characters such as Dona, he is a strong exception to this rule. But still, if you do come across a support like Gabrielle, I would highly recommend you to push for Gabrielle first. However, Dona also has a little bit of priority in that sense. So let's take a look at his second skill. We're not going to read everything here, okay? But just take note that as he crit, he will then lower his cooldown by 1. So basically, if he counter attacks and he crits on the counter attack, he's going to lower his skill cooldown by 1 as well. So it's very important that you lower this passive cooldown as much as you can, so that he just need to counter attack like maybe one time, and he will instantly get his passive up and ready on his turn again. And of course on his third skill, which grants him a defense buff and an immunity buff, which is so crucial for his kit. This skill definitely deserves to be maxed out as soon as possible so that your cooldown decreases and you have a little bit more uptime in your defense buff and your immunity buff as well. So I hope this was clear for you guys. I mean, it's just a brief overview of everything, but I hope this explained everything that needs to be talked about, and I hope you understand exactly where I'm coming from. As you can see over here, my DPS experts are not even skilled up at all, and I don't even see myself skilling them up for a long time. Now, do take note that this is just my opinion. You can choose to skill up whoever you want, as long as you're happy about it and you feel that you are improving in your gameplay, you're improving in your growth, your potential, everything is going good, then sure, why not? More power to you. But anyway, if you still have any other questions or doubts, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. If you want to ask more about specifics, like should you be raising this Esper or that Esper instead, do let me know as well. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Also, don't forget that my Discord is finally officially live. You can check it down in the descriptions below and in the pinned comment as well. So that'll be it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, it really helps the channel. And subscribe for more Dislyte content as I upload every single day. And this has been Daddy Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.